Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years. We're dedicated to delivering quality auto parts, expert customer service, fast and free shipping, all backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. So visit us at 1aauto.com, your trusted source for quality auto parts.
In this video, we're going to be working with our 1996 GMC Sierra K1500. We're going to show you how to remove and replace your vehicle's harmonic balancer. If you like this video, please click subscribe. We have a ton more information on this and many other vehicles. And if you need this part for your truck, you can follow the link down in the description over to 1aauto.com. Here are the items you'll need for this repair. Using a small flat blade screwdriver, pop open the wire retainer on the top of your fan shroud, lift the wire off, and it's long enough that you can just lay it back in the engine bay. You can remove it from the battery and take it out completely if you'd like to, but this should give you plenty of room to work. Remove the 7 10mm bolts along the fan shroud. There should be 2 on the bottom on each side. Ours is missing 2 bolts, and then 3 along the top, and the same 2 bolt locations on this side. We'll remove these with a 10mm socket, ratchet, and extension. Once the hardware is removed, lift up and remove the upper fan shroud from the vehicle. We're going to use an adjustable wrench because we don't have the right size open-end wrench, but that would work as well as some pipe wrenches. We're going to place that over the clutch fan nut and then strike it quickly with a hammer. Using the drive of a 3/8 ratchet, you could also use a 3/8 breaker bar, we'll go into the slot on the serpentine belt tensioner and rotate it as far as we can clockwise to put some extra tension on the serpentine belt, and then try hitting the wrench again because this should keep the pulley from turning. Once it's loose, you can remove your ratchet, spin the clutch fan off. Now use a 3/8 drive ratchet to turn the tensioner counterclockwise and remove our serpentine belt. Make sure you have a belt path for this, either under the hood somewhere, take a picture, or draw one yourself. You don't need to remove your water pump. However, we already had it off and it makes it a lot easier to show you what's going on. Remove the 3 14mm crank pulley bolts. Now these tend to be pretty stuck on there, so you may need to use a strap wrench or something to hold the crank in place. But I've found that if you crack them all loose before you remove any of them fully, and you kind of give them a little shock with the ratchet by just giving them a quick little jerk, sometimes you can free them up without needing to remove anything. Once you've cracked all the bolts loose, you can remove them fully. Now use a 16mm socket, ratchet, and extension to try to break loose the center bolt on the balancer. However, this is really torqued on there, so you may need to use an impact gun or some type of holder to get it off. Now you may be able to use a strap wrench, some kind of holder. If you have a manual transmission, you may be able to just lock it in place. But for us, the easiest method is going to be to break it loose with an impact gun. You can then remove the bolt and pulley from the harmonic balancer. So now we'll reinstall the center bolt without the washer as far as we can by hand. We'll now use our harmonic balancer tool from 1A Auto. Some of the supplied hardware fits the balancer bolt holes. So we'll set those in. You want to make sure these are all in equal lengths so that it pulls straight and flat. We'll run in the center bolt, also supplied in our puller kit from 1A Auto. We'll now use a 19mm socket and ratchet to tighten down the center bolt. Once we've tightened down the center bolt far enough, we can slide our harmonic balancer off by hand. Be sure to remove the center crank bolt.
Here we have our old harmonic balancer that we removed from our vehicle and our new part from 1AAuto.com. As you can see, these parts are exactly the same, with the same size, same bore and keyway, as well as the same timing mark on the outside, which is very important. The harmonic balancer has a rubber damper in between the two pieces of steel. If this starts to go bad, it can vibrate, make noise, and also throw off your timing mark. It's very important to keeping the engine rotating and running smoothly. So if your old harmonic balancer has cracked or the rubber has failed, this new part from 1A Auto will go on direct fit, just like your original equipment, and fix you up right. Install the appropriate installer tool into your crankshaft. Ours is 7/16 by 20 thread. You may need to use a pair of pliers to get that in nice and tight. Install your harmonic balancer onto the crank. We'll give it a couple of taps with a hammer just to get it started on there. You can then install the sleeve of the installer tool, bearing, and the nut. You can then install the bolt. Now every tool is different, so use the appropriate size wrench to tighten the nut down until your harmonic balancer is bottomed out. And if necessary, there's two flats on the tool here, so you can hold that with a wrench and prevent it from rotating. Once the harmonic balancer is bottomed out, you can back it off and remove the tool. Reinstall the crankshaft pulley with the three 14mm bolts. Tighten those down with a 14mm socket, ratchet, and extension. Reinstall your 16mm crank bolt and washer. For now, we'll just tighten down the crank bolt as much as we can with a 16mm socket and ratchet. Once we get the belt on, we should have a little more leverage to torque it. Loop your serpentine belt under the crank pulley. We'll then go under the water pump, around the top, down and under the power steering pump, over the AC compressor pulley. On the left, we'll go over the tensioner, over the alternator. We'll then hold down where it'll go below the idler pulley using the drive from a 3/8 ratchet. We'll turn the tensioner counterclockwise, slide the belt under, take a quick look to make sure everything is aligned. There we go. Put tension back onto our belt. Using your ratchet, put tension on the serpentine belt by rotating the tensioner clockwise. Using your 16mm socket, torque the crank bolt to 74 foot-pounds. Reinstall the clutch fan. And just snug it up by tapping it on with a wrench. Reinstall your upper radiator fan shroud. Reinstall the 7 10mm bolts securing your fan shroud. Tighten them down with a 10mm socket and ratchet. Reinstall the wire along the top of your shroud. Lock it back into place.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.